Have you ever felt lost in this so-called race in life? Or that you feel that you're not progressing in the pace that you'd like to in one or all aspects of your life? Good news, my friend, because if you do, that makes it two of us. Welcome to the club. I'm Tyne Culiado Martinez and welcome to my channel. I know most of us are anxious about or are actively aiming towards achieving a certain milestone in our life. For some of you, you could be dreaming for so long to land at your dream job, your dream company, in your dream role. I too, for one, has a story to share. I remember when I passed the board exam, I was just so ready to jump on any job. I was so full of passion, enthusiasm, dream, and ambition. You know, when you're fresh graduate and you have all the optimism in you, you feel like you can do everything until you experience your first rejection. Dun dun dun. It felt like the world had completely turned its back on you. Only 2 months into persistently sending applications or applying for a job, I was already feeling downhearted. And mind you, I have only sent out 10 applications at that time. Little did I know that I will have to be rejected 200 times over to get to where I am right now. Thankfully, I landed in a job in a regional bank and had the pleasure of working with wonderful people who became my family. Since we could not afford my allowance to work in Manila, I opted to stay in our city and work there. Back then, I knew I had close to zero chance of landing a job abroad. Because you would have to work in Manila, which is the business and job hub for all job seekers at that time. I had probably sent out 100 emails to different companies overseas and I got rejected every single time. I even considered taking a hazardous job in Afghanistan as an accountant there at the height of the war. So you can imagine, I'm just accounting and bullets would fly over everywhere. Well, how cool is that, right? And then only to almost fall a victim to perhaps possible human trafficking. Funny story. Those are the things I would do to chase my ambition. 2 months after that, an email somehow found its way in my inbox, and lo and behold, it was an opportunity to work abroad. Imagine how that job found me in the southernmost part of the Philippines. That's an amazing experience that reminds me of the value of waiting for the right opportunity. And so 14 years and 2 countries later, I could not be any more grateful to have had these opportunities that came my way. Some just made it on my door knocking and without me really looking for it. So I'm really grateful. So meanwhile, I had a chance to speak with a friend of mine who was also an ex-colleague the other week. He's a very young and smart guy. You know who you are. Though he is 10 years my junior, he also has his story of pains and gains for sure, and I respect that. I checked with him and he said he's very happy right now in his job, and mind you, his job is paying him as much as I was earning when I was his boss. So this is another example of just waiting for the right opportunity for you in the right time. Things could turn around for you. It's just a matter of time. And when the time is right, the opportunity that is meant for you will come knocking at your door. Of course, you just don't wait for that opportunity to arrive, right? You also have to do your part and do your best to seek out for it and, put yourselves out there. But, there's just so many things that you can do, so much things that are under your control. So, yeah, I would say never lose patience. Sometimes we get discouraged if we don't end up getting the things that we are pining for or have been working for. But later on we realize that there are better things out there for us. The important thing is we don't give up, we keep doing our best. And I truly believe that with all that happened to me, somewhere somehow you'll end up where you're supposed to be when the time is right. And there are those who also decided to take a step back in their career in order to pursue other priorities in their life. Well, far more important priorities in their lives. Like moms out there, kudos to you for taking on the challenge of wearing so many different hats at the same time. I could imagine how hard it must be for you to juggle things. And so I think this is just, the season in your life where, spending time with your children is the best vocation you could ever pursue. And so never feel apologetic for parking your dream or ambition aside, because being a mom is a great mission in itself. And I could just imagine, how fulfilling it must be for you all to be doing this, to be selfless, to sacrifice, what you once wanted for yourself in order to give more time and importance to your family. And there are also those who are waiting for their lifetime partners, their soulmates, an affirmation of their calling and or vocation in life. I, for one, was in the waiting line. I was single for 8 years. I spent 5 years rebuilding myself from the ruins. Kidding. What I meant is that I took 5 years to really focus on myself, to fall in love with myself again, pursue my passion, what I love doing, like traveling, photography, and discover new hobbies. And then I spent 3 years of putting myself out there, going out and meeting people. However, in the last few years, I admit it wasn't really easy to stay calm and cool when everyone in my friends list was either getting married or giving birth to their first child, which, don't get me wrong, I was happy for them. It's just that nothing is happening in my own love life. It wasn't really easy. And so there were nights where I would wonder if there is really someone out there for me, or that if there's something wrong with me, because it seemed like it's just taking so long. And I have met quite a few people, and some were like outright mismatch. The rest were just meant to walk by and not stay. But in the end, someone really stayed and proved to me that he's worth all the wait. He made me realize why it never worked out with anyone else. And I'm pretty sure for all of you who are watching, you also have your own stories of waiting for love. Either you've already found your soulmate or you're still in the search. It did seem like waiting forever in vain, but now that I have walked across the bridge and speaking to you from experience, it doesn't matter how long you've waited or how many heartbreaks you've had, because I tell you, the joy of finding the love of your life is far greater than any of your heartbreaks or your times of waiting. If anything, it just made me more grateful for all the lessons that the experiences taught me. And it could also be that God is taking time to make you a better person to your partner, and perhaps mold you both to be better partners to each other. I'd say never lose heart over rejections. I know it's easier said than done, but more often than not, rejections are blessings in disguise. There is a reason why a door has closed in you. Maybe you're meant to open the one that leads you to the person who's meant for you. You just have to trust the process and be patient for the right time. And now that I'm married, you would think that this is the ultimate place to be. Well, definitely not, because the questions just keep coming. And one of the dreaded questions that we get is, when are you going to have a baby? Well, this question, mind you, causes anxiety and pressure to couples, especially those who are facing challenges in conceiving. I am diagnosed with endometriosis, which is a condition characterized by the thickening of the inner walling of the uterus. And so you can imagine how this adds up to the difficulty of, me coming past the stage of my best childbearing years. I admit there are times that I feel baby sick, or when the longing to have a baby is so strong. But there are just some things that are beyond our control, and sometimes it's difficult to be hopeful. But I am reminded by a story of my cousin and her husband, who had been waiting for a child for 7 years. And so they waited, they tried everything they could, they prayed persistently, and they never gave up. And until one day, they received their miracle. They were not only given a baby, but they were given 2 babies, a twin, and a boy and a girl. Well, actually, they're my godchildren. And again, this is a great reminder to me to never lose hope, even if it seems impossible. In all these seasons in our life, more often than not, it can be hard to keep a positive spirit. Our predicament and sometimes our anxiety could block the ray of hope. No matter how we try to orchestrate things or plan ahead, there are just some times when we don't get the things that we want, or don't get to where we want. Well, maybe just not there yet, not this time yet. And so, personally, time and time again in my life, I have been reminded to do my best and trust the rest to God's providence. Maybe we need more time to be best prepared for our breakthroughs. Maybe, we are where we are now is God's best for us. And while we're at it, we just have to take our time to savor every moment, take as much positive as we can from the situation, or if it's a difficult one, maybe ask ourselves, what is this situation trying to teach us? If the time is right, we pray for the courage to move forward, And if what we are hoping for is not meant for us, then we pray for serenity and acceptance and the grace to welcome that which is best for us. I pray that you fully embrace whatever season that you are in right now. God bless you. Thank you for watching and stay safe and stay sane.